we're going to be talking all about the developments that have happened in Q3 2023, what's in works, what is this whole new game loop about, which is going to be including the island utility and having the island as a utility and also superheroes, not just the islands. And towards the end, we'll be able to claim our CBXPs. So starting with all the updates that went live, as you all know, some hiccups with the asset withdrawals. Some of the assets took a bit more time than the others to be enabled, but that was done, and towards the end we saw good results of that. A lot of high trading volume for the last set of assets that went live on OpenSea, and it's really driving our volumes on OpenSea, just the last set of assets. So that was an exciting update. The pro assets difficulty logic is live. The game metrics dashboard was released. The speed fishing mode was released. We had the spin the wheel going live again. We have the all new animated lobby screen from where it's much easier to navigate to different paths in the game. UI UX upgrades have been part of every app update that has been going and will be happening for all the app updates that go even in the coming days. So with every app update, we are aiming to improve the UI and 3D elements in the game, so you can hope you can see new updates going live with every release. And the new use case for Pro Mix was also released. We have a much better game architecture, and that's also just like UI UX upgrades. The game architecture is also being updated with every release. So that it's much faster to patch updates. There are lesser downtimes. We've not had a downtime for a very long time. There have been just minor bugs which were being able to resolve much faster than how it used to be before. And a lot of terrain and UI upgrades are happening. So that's what happened in Q3. And these are all the things that went live. So there were many more things that were planned. So the development for a lot of other features are also done, and we'll be taking them live in the next couple of releases. So all the features which are ready for release is a new player XP system. You can see the screen. In the XP system, you are able to track the progress of your farming business, and you're also able to compare it to other players. And an XP progression system has been in the works for a while and it's ready to go. So expect this to go live in the second release, if I'm not wrong, from now. The Whack-A-Mole game is ready. The CB Army app is ready and all tested and good to go. I think it will go live within the next 4 to 5 days. So CB Army soldiers and leaders will be really excited to get their hands on the new CB Army app. The CBX Born wallet is ready to be released. You can expect this to go live in the first week of October. So it's not really the burn event, as you all know. This is a transparency move where we'll be shifting all the CBX that's collected for CBX burn into a public wallet where you will be able to see all the amount that is getting collected. So so that you have a better idea of the final amount which will be burned whenever the event happens. So, and supply limit for pro animals in Gen 0 is also completed. Like the calculations and everything for that is also done. All we need to do is just update the numbers in the white paper. So I think by mid next week you'll be able to see the supply limit for all the pro animals and Gen 0 superheroes. Alright, getting deeper into the developments and all like what we have been doing for the past 3 months. So starting with all these updates that you see over here: dynamic asset output, all generations of superheroes having powers on the farm, fertilizers, speeding up harvest. Now, as you can see, it's put on hold, but why is that? So the purpose of like a lot of the features that were planned for Q3 2023, that is dynamic asset output, fertilizers, harvest time update, etc., was to improve the value of game assets further in terms of more and more utility, and also strengthening the economy further for like a longer period of time. So long-term viability and improving the utility of the assets was the goal behind all of these upgrades. As like a like an ongoing thing, we always think about short-term and long-term value stability for the assets, and this will always be our primary goal, as it has been in the past also. But while working on these updates, we realized the complexity of these features. Like, even though the intention behind this was much novel, trying to improve the utility, but like, you know, all of these assets, like all of these updates, like dynamic asset output, fertilizers, these are adding into more deeper game loops. So in fact, a dynamic asset output might even result in lesser output for some users in some cases, right? So you know, so we were right after the release, like in Q3, we started thinking about these things, and you know, we need to focus more on updates that will attract new users and make the onboarding process much simpler. It is not just about improving the value of the asset. So while we do that, we also need to make sure that, you know, the updates that we are doing is user friendly. It's we need to attract a lot more users coming into the platform, and also to improve the onboarding process. So there is something that we've been itching to tell you for a long time. The decision was taken a few days, like right in Q3 itself. So what we worked around, like the plan that we worked around, is much more exciting that you can imagine compared to all of these things. Instead of trying to add deeper and more complex game loops to improve the value, we decided to add a proper new gameplay loop itself as an extension to the current gameplay. So rather than making the current game loop deeper and deeper, while the focus has to be on the long-term sustainability, we decided that we need to build some new game loops in the game to at the same time having the same effect, improving the utility of the assets and the long-term sustainability of the economy. So you must be thinking, oh, we have mini games, so this might be a new mini game. No, it's not. This is not a new mini game, but a massive new gameplay loop which creates much greater utility for the existing assets, mainly the extracts that we have already, the superheroes that we all have already, and also looking into bring the islands back to life in the game, in the game loop. So we are adding more longer and more sustainable use cases for these assets. And right now, particularly for pro extracts and regular extracts, we are in the process of running simulations and to calculate the right supply of extracts required, also considering the new game loop. So post this, we will mint all the extracts and utilities on chain. So while this new game update is happening, we all before that, all of these assets will be, all of these consumables will be printed on chain. So so along with all the releases that went in Q3, all the releases that we spoke about, the team has been parallelly working on the phase 1 of the new SH card game that you guys already know that we are working on, and the whole new game loop, the massive new game loop that's coming, which incorporates even more use cases for the superheroes apart from the PvP card games, and like I said, the other assets like islands and the other regular assets. The next step over here, so all of Q3, in the past 3 months, a lot of so in the phase 1 of a game development, a lot of, you know, like in a game loop development, a lot of designing, a lot of planning and economics, you know, the mechanics of the new game loop has to be decided. So I must say that we are almost done with the planning of that. And what will happen is in the coming days, you will see the new white paper for this new game loop that's coming. So there you go. The islands have been, the real diamond hands, and they are finally getting some new use case in a massive new game loop that's coming up in the coming days. So Q4 roadmap is around the new game loops that are coming up. But like I said, the white paper will be released, but you'll also see a more detailed roadmap for Q4 coming up. So we firmly believe that these decisions will help us propel the value of assets in CBX by creating more demand and utility. And there you have it, the all new island game, the island game loop, the all new game loop where islands will be used and the assets trading card games will be released in 2024, and the development for them will happen parallelly. So meanwhile, don't assume that we will not focus on further developing the CropBytes game loop. That is the primary goal, to make the core game loop of CropBytes more sustainable. So along with all of these upcoming game loops, we will also make sure that we are focusing further on improving the sustainability of the CropBytes, the main gameplay. So yeah, the idea is to create a balance between these. I hope you guys are happy about hearing the vision that we have in order to to think long term, and at the same time bringing in utility for some of the assets that were kept idle for some time, but finally the true value of them will be realized. So hey, OpenSea, we are nearing 8 ETH volume. Assets are trading like hot bread in OpenSea, so that's great news. Terrain updates, you had seen this in the previous call also, but in the next game app release, you'll see all of these new changes in the terrain updates. All right, so that's the update that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me just check if Sandeep has also joined in. Yeah, Sandeep is here. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the general chat, and we'll be able to take them. Meanwhile, Sandeep, if you have anything to share, you can do. So Swan is asking, is the burn address on chain? If so, can you share that, please? Yes. So the burn address will be on chain. It will be an on-chain wallet where we will send all the tokens that are collected for the burn. So you'll be able to see, like if you check the history of the wallet, you'll see that the tokens are only coming in and not going out of it. So the only time it will go out is when it will be sent to the final burn wallet. Please make a luck-based mini games. We have luck-based like mini game. There is the spin the wheel that's there, and if you have not tried the bait fishing and the speed fishing, there's a lot of luck involved in that also, apart from all the skills that are required to win in the game. Okay. Hope said that's a great idea. Aaron Jor, how to claim XPs. If you can see my screen, the code for today's CBXP claim is Islands 2024. So right after this call, we will release a form where you can just enter your name, your email ID, and enter the secret code, and you'll automatically be allotted the CBXPs for being a part of this call. Islands will be able to mint it. So Sandeep, are you here?
With too much of a details, but to answer the question, yes, it will be minted on the chain, and the more details you can able to see once we let the white paper out. Yeah, so I'm just going through another question. Okay, when will a new white paper release? Yes, we have. I mean, we have been working on that white paper. That's what, right? The slides what Abhishek shows, right? Currently the white paper is in progress. So from last quarter, we have extensively worked on like how the game mechanism needs to be, how the new game loop related to this island asset should be. So all these basic details we are drafted, and right now we are doing some simulations and a lot of calculations we are going through. So once after that, right, we'll be having what are all the numbers we need to mention on that white paper also, right? It will be ready. So after that, right, we will be releasing the white paper. I can able to tell you some rough timeline, but please don't take this as a granted. I'm expecting that white paper to be out at least in next couple of weeks. Expected, that is just an expected date, but you can able to see an official announcement from the CropBytes social channels once. I mean, just before it's going out. Yeah. I can hear you. Okay, it's audible. Okay.
I think there's one more question, Sandeep, by Valentine on the group. So will we have CBX staking in the future? He's asking.
CBX staking, yeah, it will be having a CBX staking, but in a different way. Not only CBX, like we are just planning out a few kind. I mean, the original plan is to like tokenize these extracts and all the commodity assets also, and use some kind of staking mechanism and create some kind of some new different loot. But when we don't know, but right, we are just working out on a few protocols. I mean, just we're just doing some experimental simulations on this. So if the results was good, right, we'll be just looking into that. But I don't think in the near future it will be there. But definitely in some time there should be. I mean, there will be staking. And one more thing, I think right now, so CBEX staking is working on some of the exchanges actually. The exchange named L-Bank, I think the staking event of CBEX is still running on there. Over to you, Abhishek.
Yeah, thanks for that, Sandeep. I think there are a couple of more questions in the in call chats. So by Wall has asked some questions. So one of the questions is, in future updates, will farm value be calculated with the matic value of assets from OpenSea for the ones and not from the in-game exchange? So, and will all assets also get added to the in-game exchange like P1 Hen, Small Whale, etc.? So will the asset value be calculated from OpenSea, or will it be the in-game exchange value, and also if these assets will be added to the in-game exchange?
Yeah, so right now the P1, all the starter pack assets which we have enabled withdrawals recently has been traded in OpenSea but not on an in-game exchange. But what is on discussion is that, right, see, right now, so far, right, we have given some kind of a static value because of there is like too many of confusions regarding the referral rewards, etc. So we have given like a static value to those assets. But I mean, we are releasing all the. I mean, I think almost all the assets we have released on that. I mean, we have enabled the withdrawals, so people are withdrawing that and trading on OpenSea. Now, what we'll do, we'll just calculate that USDT value. I mean, through some Polygon APIs, we can able to calculate the value of that assets in USDT, and we will reflect same into the portfolio. I think this regarding this, right, this on development pipeline, but I'm not sure when it is going out exactly. But right, this is on cards.
Okay, so the second question is, apart from focus on onboarding new players, is there also focus for keeping current players engaged and satisfied? We've seen a bunch of levers. Is it in the talks to figure out why they are discontent and if there could be any improvements?
Okay, so that's a good question, but a bit of a tricky question. Okay, so see, if you see in the CropBytes game, right, we are putting out like, I mean, there is continuous improvements actually on one or other thing. It's not only just on onboarding. Along with the onboarding, right, every once in every 2 weeks, right, you are seeing a new release actually. So it might be like a bigger improvements or bigger release or smaller release, right? We are keen to develop the product, and we are developing these, and we are continuously developing it for 5 long years, and nowhere in the middle, right, we have stopped actually. So when it comes to like an keeping of engaging older users, So that is, I mean, before answering that, right? I just want to answer you something. We have seen a bunch of levers. Is it the talk of a figure? Okay. See, I will share you my experience. I have been there with the CropBytes community from now. It's almost like 5.5 years, more than 5.5 years. So, I mean, I have seen like in a few, especially in the bear markets, right? Will be leaving and the new users will be joining. That is all the part of, I mean, or how can say it's all the part of a cycle actually. So, um, I mean, we have seen like the same users back in 2019 bull market who lived again joined back in 2020 and 2021 especially. So this is like, I mean, based on their commitments, right? Because it's not just a game; it is involving some kind of a financial aspect also. So based on their financial commitments, we have seen like people moving out and moving in. This is all the it's I mean I have seen it as a all part of this thing. But when it comes to like is there something which we are doing to keep older users engaged? Yes, definitely. I can say definitely yes. Um, so that is what, right? We are bringing like in a whole new game loop. What Abhishek is talking about. So what and all the fun aspects or gaming elements, which is slightly missing in current version, right, will be covered up there, and what and all is missing like a fun factor or any other gratification, visual gratification, all these things, right? We are going to cover up these in this coming game loop. I hope. I mean, it's not a hoping. I'm damn sure, right? The people who are holding this island for this long, and especially these assets holders who is eagerly waiting for some action to be performed at assets, right? Definitely, they will not regret for holding up these assets, especially island as well as assets for this long. They will be. I mean, I'm also very excited for the day when we can share the white paper. So, but one thing I can able to share you, definitely the holders, right, will not regret for waiting this long. Over to you, Abhishek.
Thanks, Sandeep. I am Groot is asking any update on cosmetic decorations to burn CBX. Uh, so I am Groot is really interested in getting a lot of non-economy game items in the game, which could be just used as decoration cosmetics and sold as NFTs. So any what's the how is that like in like how do we look at these sort of assets in the game, Sandeep?
Yeah. Regarding these decoration items or cosmetic items which don't have some for I mean financial value, I mean value, but right, which can be used to decorate their farms or their lands, right? So those things, right, we are going to cover up in this coming new loop what we are talking about. So that we are covering that up. And okay, I can able to see the say in the same question, right? There is some other question. In the superhero game, will each superhero will be unique? Yes, it's going to be unique, and it's going to be like a purely an NFT. And each of the NFTs, what you guys are holding, also having like different, I mean, properties. Some properties can be, I mean, the properties also, right, will be that numbers of the properties. For example, if you take some kind of green, your green strength may be something, and some exposures green may be something. So similarly, right, there will be like in this aspect also, right? Definitely, this SST superhero is going to be very unique in terms of like a properties, and it's definitely going to be on ERC 721 token standard, not ERC 1155.
Thanks, Sandeep. Hope is asking, will Feedmills be tokenized?
Yeah, that is also part of a plan actually. So I mean, last year March we have completed our first phase of a tokenization, and second phase we are planning all around like utility assets, and the superheroes as well as and the rest of assets which are not tokenized like islands or mints, right? Everything will be tokenized. Just mostly right in second phase, right, all these assets will be tokenized. So I mean, right now, right, the tech behind, I mean, we have already built up the tech. Only we are doing some few calculations based on the new game loop utility. So once after we finalize the supply, right, Saturday we will be minting all these pending assets into the chain.
Okay, Sandeep. But I think Feedmills are already tokenized, right? They are available on OpenSea. I think you're talking about the consumables, which will be tokenized.
Yeah, sorry. I think Feedmill is already there in
Already
tokenized. I'm
tokenized.
talking about
Yeah.
yeah, there is. Yeah, I think that is already tokenized.
Yeah. But yes, the
Only
consumables.
islands and other consumables. And there is some assets which is not in utilities, like some missions or there are like those. Everything will go out.
Right. Thanks for that. Okay. Some of the questions were already answered. Sandeep, Tushar Saraf is asking a question. Why take the cost from on chain, but can we list it in the game instead?
Okay, see, I mean that can able to come. That listing can able to come up over the period of a time. So everything what we do, right, it's based on like a lot of validations, and we'll consider like lot of data validation also. So, but I mean, so just trust us, like we are doing it for a reason and for betterment of the community as well as to keep some good value to the assets. So if you list that assets inside of the game, right, then I mean, if you see the results, right, you only will ask that, okay, you only will ping a message like, Sandeep, can you please delist this market? So what all we are doing is, right, we are doing it with a very great validation of our data as well as like a lot of factor validation. So just believe that, right, this is the best thing to do. I mean, this is the best way to take that up, especially for these P1 assets.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that, Sudeep. And I think what Hope was talking about is because mills are not available for withdrawal now. I think that's what he was talking about. So, any news on that?
Yeah. So there is a, I mean, in order to, okay, I'm not sure why. So just want to talk with the PMs and we'll just see. Like I don't think it is not open for a withdrawal. Before saying something, right, I'll just make that. I will just check into this, and we will be keep you informed through the community channels.
Okay. Hope looks like there might not be an issue here, and if there is, it will be resolved soon. So don't worry about that. Okay. Thanks for the suggestion, Wall. I think if there is anything more to ask, please put them in the chat, or we'll also be there in the community through text. So if once you've consumed all the updates that we've shared so far, I'm sure you'll be able to come up with more questions. And not just that, every week we connect with the guardians in a AMA in the guardians group. So make sure you guys are talking to the guardians. They're already very helpful and very much invested into making this community a great place. So they get to us with a lot of their questions, like burning questions, and we have a AMA session every week. So make sure if you have anything more to ask, you can either tag us directly or speak to the guardians and get answers for all your questions. All right, Sandeep, is there anything else? I think this is it. And
yeah, just want to answer
right.
Walt's message, what's the crypto calculator message.
Sure.
Yes, definitely we'll listen to your suggestions, Wall, and I mean, even though right, for most of the things we can't able to respond that, but right, every suggestion what people are putting in the Discord community or Telegram community, it will be reaching till us. Through the guardians or community moderators. Definitely see what and all. I mean, regarding these community people who are leaving also, right? Definitely, I can say that, right, there is some like more exciting things ahead. So the moment you see the white paper, you will come to know why I'm so confident on this. I'm just waiting for the day, as I said earlier. Thank you all. Thank you all who joined that this meetup, and it has been nice to come in front of you and talk, explain this, what are the things is happening behind the doors. Thank you all for joining.
Thanks everyone for joining in. Hold on. In a few minutes, we will release a form in the announcements channel where you can claim your CBXPs for being a part of this call. The code is Islands 2024, as you can see on the presentation. Have a great weekend, everyone. It's been a great call. Thank you all for joining in. We will catch you soon, same time next week. All right. Thanks a lot.